I'm in trouble. I, 28 female, came back from work and could tell right away something was off with my boyfriend. He wasn't his usual self. He seemed tense, like he was holding something back. When I asked what was going on, he admitted he'd been looking through my laptop. My stomach dropped. I wasn't sure what he had seen, but I had a pretty good idea, and I knew it wasn't going to be good. Then he asked to see my phone. I froze. I could feel my heart racing, but I handed it over without a fight. I didn't want to make things worse by refusing. He started scrolling and found the messages. There were tons of texts between me and this guy from my gym. He knows this guy. I've mentioned him before, and we've been friendly for a while, but my boyfriend has brought up concerns about him in the past. Months ago, he told me he wasn't comfortable with how much we were texting, and while I'd promised to keep things strictly about workouts, I hadn't exactly stuck to that. Most of the messages were innocent. Gym tips, workout schedules, advice about lifting. But then there were the ones that weren't so harmless. Early on, there was a text where I joked about deleting messages because it could look bad. I had accidentally sent him a boob pic that was intended for my boyfriend. The guy said he downloaded the pic for research purpose, but would delete the message. At the time, it felt lighthearted and playful, but now seeing it through my boyfriend's eyes, I get why it looks shady. There were also a few messages where he complimented me, calling me fit, and I jokingly downplayed it. None of it felt like flirting to me at the time, but now I see how it could be taken that way. And then, the worst part, the pictures. He found the photos I'd taken while I was out of town at one time, ones where I was in lingerie and one topless pic. When he asked me about them, I panicked. I told him I'd been feeling lonely and had thought about sending them to him, but then I got self-conscious and decided not to. That wasn't entirely a lie, I had thought about it, but even to me it sounded flimsy. We've been together for 3 years, and it's not like I've ever sent him something like that before. I could see in his face that he didn't believe me. He pressed me on the text again, and I admitted I knew continuing to message this guy wasn't what he wanted. I told him I wasn't flirting or cheating, but I could see how hurt and betrayed he felt. I explained that I saw the guy as just a friend, and I hadn't been looking for anything inappropriate. But I also had to admit that I'd been selfish by not respecting my boyfriend's boundaries. Later, he saw me typing on my phone and assumed I was telling a friend about what was going on. He seemed upset that I might be airing our issues to other people. I told him it wasn't like that, but he didn't believe me until I let him read what I'd been writing. I told him he couldn't do this, and I cannot tiptoe around him to make him feel secure in our relationship. We had a huge fight afterwards. Later we talked, and I apologized. I told him I would cut off all contact with the guy. No more texting, no more gym conversations, nothing. I said I'd tell him that things had crossed a line and that it wasn't appropriate to continue any sort of relationship. I promised my boyfriend that I'd do whatever it takes to rebuild the trust I'd broken. I don't know where things stand now. He's been quiet since then, and I feel awful knowing I've hurt him. At the time, I didn't see this as an emotional affair, but now I can understand why he does. I don't want to lose him over this, but I'm panicking so bad. Update: we have parted ways. He's my ex now, and as much as I want to blame circumstance or miscommunication or anything else, I know this was my choice. I didn't respect his boundaries. I didn't prioritize our relationship when it mattered most. To those who asked last time, it was never physical. There was one moment in the gym where things almost crossed that line. Not with the same guy, but I stopped it. I patted myself in the back, that I was still in control. But I wasn't. It was still an emotional betrayal, and I knew it. I downplayed it in my mind because admitting the truth, that I had built a connection with someone else, was too painful to face. The worst part is, I think I know why I did it. I was terrified. Terrified to talk to him about my feelings, my struggles, my desires. I was scared of being judged or hurting him with my honesty. But by avoiding those conversations, I ended up doing the exact thing I was trying to avoid. I hurt him. I broke his heart, and now he's gone. And stupid as it sounds, I feel hurt too, like I'm a victim in all this, even though I know I'm not. The truth is, I didn't have faith in him. Not in the way I should have. I didn't trust that he'd understand me, or that he'd love me through my flaws, or that we could work through the distance that had grown between us. But he didn't lie to me. He didn't cheat. I was the one who failed, and instead of facing him with honesty, I made excuses and pushed the boundaries he set. I was selfish, and I didn't see, because I was too focused on my own pain, that he was hurting too. He was feeling distant and unloved, just like I was, but I was too blind to notice. Now we're here. I'm sleeping on the couch until I can figure out where to go, and it feels so humiliating. I'm terrified he'll tell other people what I did. I know I deserve to face the consequences, but the idea of our friends, families, knowing what I did makes my stomach turn. It's not just shame, it's guilt for what I've done to him. I've destroyed the person I love, and in the process, I've destroyed myself too. I have to live with the fact that I failed. I didn't just fail him, I failed myself. I crossed lines I swore I never would. I lied to his face to cover my tracks. I became the kind of person I always swore I wasn't. And now, even though I want so badly to rebuild what we had, I know I can't. He's gone. And even if he weren't, it's not his job to reassure me, to hold my hand through this mess I made. I want to lean on him, the way I always did when things got hard. But that's not fair to him. He doesn't owe me that anymore. He's not my partner anymore. And after what I did, he shouldn't be. I'm left to face the wreckage alone. And as much as I want to reconcile, I don't even know where to begin. How do you start to rebuild something when the person you hurt the most is the one you need to help you? I don't have answers right now. All I have is pain and regret. I miss him so much it feels like I can't breathe. And yet I know I have no right to miss him after what I did. I hate myself for how much I hurt him. I hate that I didn't fight harder for us when I had the chance. And now all I can do is try to figure out how to live with this. A constant reminder of how badly I failed the person who mattered most to me. Story 2. WP Spiraling and Feelings. First time posting here, so I'm not really sure how about to go about this. I'm the wayward partner for about 6 months. I believe my partner is deciding whether they want to make this work or not. It's a difficult situation as we've been together for over a decade. I keep having these thoughts where anything good happens, it just comes off as pity. We're both actively trying to see if we can make this work. I'm doing individual counseling, and I believe they are too. We are to start counseling soon as well. I guess what I'm asking is that dealing with the feelings of shame and guilt and remorse, how do you deal with the aspect that anything good that happens, whether it be outside of the relationship or in it, when everything looks so bleak and sorrow-filled? Also, if anyone has any advice on how to deal with spiraling and overthinking and reading into every single comment their betrayed partner says, that would be a big help. Also, is it normal to feel so self-destructive? I just feel like I can't let a good thing be. I don't know if my subconscious is trying to make me pay for my deeds, or if I truly let anyone be happy, including myself. Hey, I just want to acknowledge how much courage it takes to share your feelings here. It's clear that you're doing a lot of hard, introspective work to address what's happened, and that's an important first step. The feelings of shame, guilt, and remorse you're experiencing are a natural part of this process. They're uncomfortable, but can also be motivators for change and growth. It's important to give yourself grace while also holding yourself accountable. This is a balancing act, and it's okay to not have it all figured out right now. As for spiraling and overthinking, it might help to ground yourself in the present moment. When you notice your mind racing, try to focus on something tangible: your breath, the feel of your surroundings, or even journaling your thoughts to get them out of your head. Mindfulness or meditation practices might also help you find some peace amidst the chaos. The self-destructive feelings you're experiencing could be your mind's way of processing the enormity of the situation. Sometimes when we feel unworthy, we subconsciously try to sabotage ourselves. This is something to unpack in IC because it sounds like you're wrestling with a lot of inner conflict. A therapist can help you untangle these feelings and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Lastly, remember that rebuilding trust and repairing a relationship is a marathon, not a sprint. It sounds like you and your partner are taking steps in the right direction with individual counseling and starting CC soon. Be patient with yourself and with them. And when good moments happen, try to embrace them for what they are. Steps forward, however small. Progress is still progress. You're not alone in this. Keep working and keep showing up for yourself and your partner. Healing is possible.